Today I'm gonna work on replacement of the brakes on Toyota Camry LE 2011. I have purchased all original parts. Went to local dealership. They gave me an estimate of $647. Suggested themselves to go online and buy it for $535. I used their part numbers, went to Amazon and found all original parts for less than $500, including rotors front and back, pads front and back with the hardware needed, and got it all less than $500. Before I start, I will need to loosen up the wheel lug nuts, just to loosen up all of them before I raise up on the jack. And before that, I will need to secure back wheel, front and back, to prevent rolling. I'm gonna jack it up in front and the center. Once I have wheel off the ground, I will use jack stands to secure it to avoid any accidents. To make it easier to work on it, I will turn the wheel to the right. The tool for the lug nuts is 22 millimeters. And I'll put it under the car. First bolt that we will need to take out is this one here, which is 14 millimeters. And if you will need help, this here is 17. But hopefully we will be able to take this out without using 17 millimeters, so we'll see. And here is bolt to take off in order to take this part off and be able to take the rotor. So 2 screws, 2 bolts, 14 and 17 millimeters go first. Okay, I already loosened up this, so it is not hard and goes by itself without using this 17 millimeters frame, which is good. And here is bottom one, not hard to take off also. Okay, now we can take the part off. Once we do that, we cannot hang this on the hose to not to break it. We'll need to hang it. In my case, I'll use a zip tie. We'll hang it up on this spring and keep it up in the air, safe from damaging the hose. This is how it looks when I use a zip tie to the spring and kept the hose safe. Very important to not to break this hose. Here are old pads secured with these springs to keep them separate. We need to take them out. And now we can take these used pads out and see condition of it. They're still not bad, used up, but time to change. And rotors I didn't change last time, so it's good to change it now. This pad is a little bit worse, has a little uneven wear on the back, so I'm glad I'm changing that. And I can feel here on the back of the rotor a little bump. That is not good, and then it's good that I'm changing it. While purchasing all hardware, I just realized that I did not get this piece here, which I can reuse after good cleaning. But they didn't mention to me and I didn't realize that I need it. So just for reference, I'm gonna compare new pad with the old and see the difference in the thickness. New, old, and I think I was close to use them up, so good thing that I'm changing. It is very difficult to take this 17 millimeter bolt. I try by hand and it won't, so I'm gonna use some WD-40 and give it 15 minutes to loosen up. After 15 minutes of waiting, and I'm gonna try to use mallet. I think it's going, and I need probably longer tool, but it worked, so here we are. Now we took this part off and we'll work on cleaning it later. Next thing is to do the rotor, and it can be stuck a little bit. I'm gonna use WD-40 here and wait maybe 15-20 minutes, hit it with rubber mallet a little bit, and hopefully it will loosen up by itself. If not, we will need to figure out a way. Now we waited for about 15-20 minutes, and I'm gonna just hit it with the hammer, and easy to take off. Just for reference, if we will have additional problems and if we really cannot take it off, it's not smart to hit it too much, just in case that we cannot change it and keep our car still drivable. Here are two holes that we need to use screws with the right size. Put them in and tie them in at the same time so it will pop out. Or I saw a guy who used nut and bolt, two nuts and one bolt from the other side where the caliper is attached to push this out. So you can watch different videos different ways, but luckily I don't have that need. I just need to use WD-40 and a little hit of rubber mallet, and it is done. Just to show you condition of it, it is pretty flat here. On the other side is a little bit less worn, uneven, especially here on the bottom, very rusty, but the thickness is still good, and I think I could drive it a little bit longer, but I started to feel a little pumping in the brake fin. I will use it faster, and I'm gonna change it. Now that we took all what we need off, I'm just gonna clean this a little bit from the rust using the WD-40. Clean all parts well to avoid rust collection. Using a brake cleaner, you can clean it. Now we'll need to take these pins out and the rubber. Maybe later. We will need to clean this off good and re-grease it again. And if you cannot take this out easy, put the bolt in and pull it out like that. And I'll take, maybe not now rubber off, but I will take these metal pieces out too, clean it well. It will be easier if it's all apart. Be careful that we don't break it. I heard that brake cleaner is not good on rubber, so I'm not going to splash on this, but just clean this a little bit and then wipe it off, but not on the rubber. We'll clean the grease off, all grease, good, of the pin, both of them. I'll put some grease on this part where the rotor goes, and prevent rusting and seizing, so that will help a little bit. I'm going to take some brake caliper grease into separate pat or bowl, and not to use this to not attract too much of dirt. So I'm going to use this little wooden stick and that, and work on greasing the pins. Now I'm going to clean one more time pins. I cleaned them with the brake cleaner and they are pretty clean, so I'm going to grease them. But one trick that I learned from different people is not to grease on the top to prevent pin pushing back while in operation. So I'm just going to do this all the way around, but not on top, and put them back into rubber sleeve. Now while I grease this, I'm going to nice and slow put that back in. Push it in, that rubber will go around like that, and then wipe it off with a rag. I cleaned all this part with brake cleaner. Now I'm gonna just put some grease. Now I have grease here. I'm gonna put these shims back in, and then we'll put some more grease on it. Just slight on all 4 of them. Okay, now we are ready for the rotor. Put it on and work on the bracket. It's a little tricky, but to go like that, and then I need to put bolts from the other side in. So it's a little tricky because the rotor needs to be held on while we're putting this bracket on with the bolts on, but takes some effort, and it's basically reversal of how we took it off. Put this on and tie these bolts together, close to, and then I'll use torque wrench. Okay, that's it. Now I printed out my torque requirements, and in this case caliper mounting bracket is 58 foot-pounds. I'm gonna use my torque wrench that I already preset on 58, but basically what we need to do is just go up and down to desirable number, and once I hit 58, that will be my torque. So now I need to tie it till it beeps. This is a cool torque wrench. If you subscribe to my channel, you will be able to see a review of it. But now I have 58 pounds, and I'll go on the bottom, do the same. That's it. Next step is to put these pads on, 2 of them on each side. I'm gonna take 2 out, and I need to use this kit, one of these wear indicators I need to have. So to put this on is like that. This shim needs to go like that, 2 of them on each side, and it's pretty easy to put them on because you cannot make mistake. Once you handle like that, these indicators go like that, actually like this, yes, like that, and we can put them inside or outside of the caliper, but I'll put them inside, and I'll put them like that. So that will be it. Actually, what I'm gonna do is put this inside and this indicator for the wear of the pad down on the bottom inside, but on the other side, on the outside, I will put indicator here and install it like that. So now I can put this here, and it will take some effort to do it like that. And on the other side, I'll need to do this. It's not easy, but I need to find a smooth spot. So that's it, how far I can go. Now I will need to install those springs that I have here, but I will need to figure out what goes first, because now I need to find the best way. If I put this springs in here like that, which will help to keep these pads apart when we are not braking, but when I am letting that go now, they spread apart before I put caliper on. So I will need to figure out that I will need to get this ready, push the caliper piston back in, and then work somehow to hold this with these springs and put the caliper after I press piston in over it. So I'm not gonna do this yet. Next step will be to push the caliper piston in with the caliper tool. This is my caliper piston pushback tool, and I am working on the right hand. So this is not so user friendly because we need to figure it out, but I think I remember that I use this tool like that, and I use this to put it in the piston. So I'm gonna try to see will this work. So what I will do is put this in here on a piston, which will work like that. That back piece will be holding it, and I'm going to run it on a little bit like that. So now I think I can push the piston back in, but before I do that, let's go to see the tank. While I'm pushing piston in, I will need to monitor this level. I will go slow and monitor how much is this rising, and if it's rising too much, I will need to take the fluid out or let it spill out on a piece of cloth or something. But there is different ways that I could do the bleeding valve, which I don't want to do. I don't want to mess with the level and introduce the air inside. So I'm going to monitor this and see how much of fluid will rise up. Okay, I'm going to push back and it goes pretty smooth. I'm going to go 2 revolutions and then see the tank. It did rise up a little bit, not too much, and I'm almost done with going piston back, but the level is good, so I'm safe with this. So like I said, I'm almost done. So this is where I am with the piston, and that's it. So I am done with pushing piston back, and it was really smooth. I already cleaned this ring a little bit, put some grease in here and here, so I'm ready to put this over the pads after I cut my wire tie, and work that carefully because it's not easy to hold all that together and put caliper over, but I'll see what I can do. Okay, now I have both springs in and they're really pushing back, so I'm gonna hold this together like that, and then I'll cut the wire tie off and then put the caliper over. Hopefully it will work. Okay, now I have cut the caliper, and carefully I will need to make sure that these springs stay in, and I slide that on, and it's almost done. Here this bottom spring pin is holding it. So that's it. And I need to put these bolts back in. And here we can see the torque for the slide pins is 20 foot-pounds, and I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna adjust. Okay, it's already on 20. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we are ready to put the tire on. Secure it with one of these lug nuts. What's important to do here is to go in the start pattern, always across, to tie it at the same time like that. What I'm going to do here is just hand tight in start pattern, and then I will work with torque, which is at least 76 foot-pounds once I am on the ground complete and done with both wheels. Just for reference, I researched and found out that the lug nuts on 2011 Toyota Camry will be 76 foot-pounds, just for reference for anybody who wants to do torque. So now that this wheel is done, I'm going to go on the other side and do the front complete, and then I will go on the back, which I think per other videos and then me doing this previously, that it is same process, but I'll see if there is anything worth mention. I will do so in this video. If not, then it will be pretty much the same process and we'll see. I was thinking that back brakes, rear brakes will be same as front, and they are pretty much the same, but while I was doing the left side, I realized that I will record a little bit more and show you the difference. On my surprise, I didn't know that will be so process is same. I will have a jack to raise it up, loosen up the wheels before I do that, take the wheel off and continue. Once we have wheel off, the rotors look a little bit different, but the caliper and the bolts are same size. Even to take the caliper bracket on the back, it is 14 millimeters, and that's same process. So that will be, like I said, same as before. Okay, to take the caliper bracket off, it is 14 millimeter bolt, and there's two of them, same as in the front, but little difference. The pads don't have those springs, which is good to nuts. I will just WD-40 all around like I did before I try to take it off. After 50 minutes of waiting with WD-40 and hitting with the mullet a little bit, I can take this off, and this is my main surprise, that we have these handbrakes under it, and I didn't know that will be so. I have pads to change, but this looks good. I'm just gonna clean it, and cleaning will be the same like in the front of all parts around. I will push the caliper back in, clean all this around, and that is basically all the same as front except this. And on my luck, both wheels on the rear are good condition. After good cleaning, it will be good for the rest of the car life. Okay, with the brush I will loosen up this rust, and the brake cleaner will wash it off, and that will be enough to clean all this around. One thing that I like to also mention is the new rotors didn't come with this plastic cover of this hole. I'm going to just reuse after I clean it from old one. That will be it. That I clean everything and grease it, I'm going to put it back with this 70 millimeter screw. The brake pads the same, approach the same, shims go on the side, the wear sensors go at the side and on the bottom on each brake pad. And just to compare, the thickness of the old and new is significantly different, but I think I could still go with these for maybe 10-15,000 miles, but while I'm changing, it's good. These are much easier to install because there is no that spring. You just need to put them in place and they will stay by itself. I already pushed caliper piston back. It is ready to go on. Push these pins in a little bit, bottom one too, and put screws in. What's left after all is done, I'm just gonna make sure that all wheel lug nuts are 76 foot-pounds, and I'll go around all car and that will be it. Now that all wheels are secure to the torque, I will make sure that my level of brake fluid is good, which it is. And before I start, I'll be careful to not to take these safety things under the wheel before I start the engine, pump up the brakes, and test drive it. I will not record that, but that is what it takes to change the brakes. And I hope this helps somebody, because there are many of these videos, but they are slightly different, and I hope my way will help somebody. Please ask questions, comment, we'll learn together. Thank you for watching.